His case was pending. I had learned that he was on, I guess, a reality TV sort of dating show called 90 Day Fiancé.
Geoffrey Paschel, easily one of the worst people to ever be on TLC, which honestly, probably where he's at for 18 years is something of an accomplishment. Final part, this is a little mix between Tithing to TLC and My Worst Ex Ever on Netflix. Last I left you, he was showing his true behavior. He got in the back of the cop car, started acting absolutely buck wild. This woman has to get an order of protection. But the kicker in this whole thing, at this point, he has already been cast on 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, which means he has a girlfriend on top of the fiancé that literally is in the hospital because of what he did.
This has been going on for decades.
This was just not going to stop until he was stopped.
Given COVID, the court system having to shut down, took a lot longer than we wanted to actually get this case to trial. And while his case was pending, I had learned that he was on, I guess, a reality TV sort of dating show called 90 Day Fiancé.
Now, let's keep it real clear. The subject incident that we're talking about happens on June 9th. By that July, he is already in Russia filming. So TLC actually put this woman, even though she has chosen to say, which I don't understand it either. I can sociology and science it as much as I want, but oh my gosh, except maybe like he's in and she has all this property and she's been traveling all over. She has a TikTok if you want to go see that. That is the best that I can figure. However, he's already out there. So TLC actually took this woman and put her directly in harm's way. Because even if they hadn't found this new charge, remember, my dude's got a criminal record that's challenging Joseph in his Technicolor Dreamcoat with its length. You know what I mean?
By July, he's already in Russia filming. I was still black and blue. I'm sure he was already cast for the show when my assault happened, so they wouldn't have caught that. But he had several criminal convictions before he was on 90 Day Fiancé. I was able to find these convictions. People on the internet were able to find these convictions. The media was able to find these convictions before the show even aired.
Geoffrey, his history runs deep and it runs dark.
If these allegations are true, sounds
Correct.
like he's got some serious anger issues.
They aired the episodes anyway.
He's getting popular on TLC, and TLC is actively putting a lot more people in harm's way at this point because you've got to remember, they're pushing him as a sweet, good old down-home country boy, even though they are fully aware of his criminal record. I refuse to believe that they are not. Send me a cease and desist. I don't care at this point. But his exes have to watch these clips of him getting popular and people thinking, oh, he's just so cute. But his eyes are a dead giveaway.
Did watch a few clips of it, and my children were in it. He was speaking with them about all the women that had hurt him and the things that he'd been through and that he deserved to be happy.
There's a risk that I'm gonna be heartbroken. And it really scares me because I don't think my heart can take another letdown.
Show's blowing up, and you know how it is with content creators. I try to stay away from this, but some people, they just don't care at the end of the day. They really don't. They'll hear someone was accused of SA 3 times by 3 ex-wives and think, you know what? I'm gonna have him on my show, which is really messed up. Then we got to think about the other aspect of that. So he's going around, he's on this show talking about how his exes were so mean to him and they treat me so bad and blah, 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 blah. But the one who he had attacked the most recently can't say anything because they're in the middle of a court case and she doesn't want anything to go wrong because that means maybe he doesn't go to jail. So, oh my God, just so uncool.
Actually going to trial, Mr. Paschel posted numerous videos online where he had talked about all of the accusations.
What's the biggest, I guess, misconception that you think that people have about you?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be woman beater. It's got to be a woman abuser, domestic violence person, whatever.
When you go through something like this, you're advised not to talk about it. So while he got to do Instagram lives, talk to his followers, and tell them his side of the story, I had to be silent.
This is all just a ploy. This is all just an agenda to try to make me lose custody of my child.
He said that I joined forces with all of his exes and that we were all scheming against him.
I think this is going to be a Johnny Depp moment. I think this is going to be like Amanda Heard getting called out and being recorded.
The other part, and this always bothers me in a lot of trials, this happens, there's actually a motorcycle group that goes around and they go to court cases to stand in between the person who was injured, which is typically a child, and the person who hurt them, because the court system will really kind of allow them just to sit there and stare you down, which is exactly what happened to Kristen. She went on the stand and she's telling what happened. She was very credible. Obviously, she knew her story, and he sat there at this table staring her down the entire time. No one did a thing about it.
In my opinion, this was a pretty straightforward case. And so the only strategy that I really had was just to let Kristen talk. During that time, did you try and get away or anything?
When I was screaming, I was trying to get away from him, but I couldn't. He's too strong. He was holding me down on the ground, and then he was pushing me around, and I could not get away. It was awful having to sit across from Geoffrey at trial. He would just lock eyes with me and not let go. It was very scary to have him stare at me like that.
Geoffrey was already likely going down for all of this. It was very clear who he was. There was prior evidence, there was prior convictions, even though they couldn't have the ex-wives in until the sentencing phase because you need them to concentrate on the ground, that whole thing, right? He decides that he's gonna take the stand to defend himself, and of course that comes out like exactly you think it would. These people have been manipulating people for so long. They think they can get away with anything, and they can't. The judge saw right through it. So he gets convicted. Then they go to the sentencing stage, wherein another ex-wife, Allison, is allowed to say what happened to her.
At any point during your marriage, was there physical abuse? There were many threats made to me and to my family. He was violent to me on numerous occasions.
She testified to them taking trips together where he would strangle her. She testified about a time where he held her face close to a fire. And then she testified about a time where she'd actually moved. They were split up at the time, and she comes home and finds him in her home.
At sentencing, you can also speak for yourself. You can apologize, do something like that, which is not the course that he took. And I'm just very glad that the judge saw through this. He spoke about himself. He cried a little bit, but really the primary focus was, poor me, look at these awful things happening. The judge decided to go for an 18-year sentence when the recommended was 16. So I do appreciate that. And the judge took a moment to call out what he was trying to do.
So I asked that you have mercy on me. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
What is going on behind closed doors is much different than the image that Mr. Paschel projects out to the rest of the world.
The judge just absolutely nailed Geoffrey's character. He saw right through him.
Old Geoffrey will not be eligible for parole or release until 2040, but knowing how the system works, I'm really hoping that doesn't get moved up to earlier. The big question a lot of people have, did the woman from 90 Days stay with him? She absolutely did. She's living in his house right now. They did end up getting married. She is considered a permanent citizen, and in my understanding, I actually did look it up, she can still maintain that citizenship even if he is where he is because they are legitimately married. She says she's managing some of his properties, this sort of thing, and I just really hope her story turns out differently, although it likely won't.
Not only did I take my power back, but I felt like I gave power back to so many women that he has taken it from over the years. And when Geoffrey was found guilty, it made every bit of suffering worth it.
Varia, I will keep my fingers crossed that you figure it out and you get out of there before he's released, because it's going to be real bad and a lot of time pent up without him being able to go after anyone. So I do hope for her future and for the future of any children they may plan to have together that she makes better decisions. On a happier note, the people that he did hurt, they said that they felt vindicated and finally someone listened. You guys are amazing for speaking out, and I'm glad that you all found each other to have that support. That's it for this one. We may do the Wade Wilson one, I'm not sure, and I will see you soon, and I hope you're having a good day.